You could be coming into some money very soon, Anne-Marie. In 2017, 111 million Americans received tax refunds. That's according to the IRS. The average amount was nearly $3,000.
Now, some people won't get refunds, but if you do, what should you do with that extra cash? Adam Sasiveri is the director at Bernstein Private Wealth Management and joins us now with a little advice. So, you know, people, that's a good chunk of change. You can do something with that. You could blow it.
You could.
I'm sure you wouldn't advise that.
Definitely not. Thanks for having me.
So what do you advise people do with that money?
Yeah, it's a question we get all the time, and I think what's most important for people to understand is it depends on their situation, so they need to figure out and have a plan in place. But, you know, we try to make sure, you know, our clients and our investors and anyone who comes with those questions are doing something meaningful with it. So really asking yourself, well, what do you most want out of it? Is it something experiential, or is it putting it to work?
Mm-hmm. The question I think a lot of people will have, we just said the average is $3,000. For a lot of investment managers, it's not a lot of money,
Sure.
but you got to start somewhere. So what would you advise somebody, for example, who's coming, you know, is working at their first job, they're getting $3,000 back, they want to start investing. What would you say for them, for somebody who's young?
Sure. Well, look, I always say to people, find out what is most important to them from a passion perspective, right? So if you're a new investor, try to look to the companies that have a day-to-day impact on your life. And then, of course, work to build a financial plan and work with an expert to figure out how those can fit into what's most important to you.
What about charities? Do they benefit at this time of the year too?
Sure. Absolutely. And I always think that's a great place for people to take that unexpected windfall and put it somewhere else, because, look, you're going to get a tax deduction on the next year, which could give you another windfall next year, but the value of giving back is a bigger payday probably than almost anything else.
So let's talk about millennials specifically. About 2/3 of them have at least one source of long-term debt. That is their tuition, average balance of $40,000 per person. What's your advice to them?
Look, again, it depends. If maybe a millennial, if you're a business owner, you may have to put your money into your business. If you've got student loans, then definitely chunking away at that is important. But millennials are the same as everyone else. Find that company that, you know, impacts your life, or a way that you can impact the planet by investing in something that matters to you.
So there have been a handful of companies that have already given their employees raises or breaks because of this big corporate tax break that they're getting. So they've shared the wealth, if you will. Is there an argument for just taking that extra cash and just having a good time, just enjoying life?
Yeah, I mean, there's always that argument. The advice I would give to someone there is, if you're going to do that, do something experiential, right? Buy a plane ticket and go see a new part of the world. See a Broadway show, or go to a restaurant you haven't been to. You know, that experience is going to make you a better person and probably a better investor.
See, I thought you were going to be like, no, got to pay off that credit card, blah, blah, blah. But it's nice.
Yeah.
You're human.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Adam, if somebody said, look, I got $3,000, I want to put it to work, I don't necessarily have a worldview because, you know, I'm not sophisticated enough to have one when it comes to investing. I have one when it comes to my personal politics, but not one when it comes to finance. So what would somebody do? Would you say start putting money for retirement? Would you say start saving for the day that you get married and you want to buy a nice engagement ring? I mean, what would be the goal?
Yeah, first I would say hire a professional to help you make that decision, and then step back, rank what is most important to you. Is it that you expect to buy a wedding, pay for a wedding, buy a ring? Is it pay down student loan debt? Is it putting a plan into place, or is it putting that money to work that will grow in a way that means something to you? So
I think that it's really interesting that you're focusing on how people feel, what's important to them. I guess just sort of giving them a list of things to do with your money. If they don't feel passionate about it, they're not going to adhere to any advice you give them.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's about making money meaningful for that person.
Right.
And if you can do that, investing follows easily.
All right. Adam Sasiveri, thank you so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.